Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast is part of the ShiZMode Chapter. This audio podcast is part of the ShiZMode the Shitstorm Panzer. This audio podcast is part of the analysis and expose in lobostics. This audio podcast is part of the Geronimo. This audio podcast is part of a Storm Lobostics production. I look at sort of the methodology aspects of this, and as part of this works looking at polypharmacy and nephrotoxicity. As part of the methodology, then sort of the initial data for analysis was provided by specific technology or technology aligned to sort of medicines management for in amongst the nurse and care home and nursing environs, and the medicines were coded. The medicines were actually coded using the dictionary of medicines and devices, the dictionary of medicines and devices, and the medicines included primarily in amongst the nephrotoxic and amongst the nephrotoxic sort of genre and medicines that would require dose adjustment, and sort of medicines or treatment modalities that would require dose adjustments in amongst renal kidney databases that were chosen or selected on studies by investigations that have been published by works by authors from between 2007 and 2012. On this audio podcast, there will be the citation or references as well. So listeners and viewers can check out the citations for additional works in additional details. So drugs or medicines were grouped by the British through the British National Formulary or BNF categories, and for aligned to nephrotoxic medicines, which were further grouped into four types, into four cohorts, that being nephrotoxic drugs or medicines under diuretics, under ACE inhibitors, under non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs or NSAIDs, and also aligned to particular antibiotics and particular drugs aligned to antibiotics such as gentamicin. So that draws this audio podcast to a close. The next audio podcast will look at some of the analysis. This has been an audio podcast as part of the ShiZMode Chapter. This audio podcast is part of the Shitstorm Panzer. This audio podcast is part of the analysis and expose and lobostics. This audio podcast as part of the Geronimo, and this audio podcast is part of a Storm Lobostics production.